If there was just one group of people that was just consistently persecuted throughout the history, the group that comes in mind to lots of people will be Jews. A Jew is someone who identifies with the cultural community whose traditional religion is Judaism and who traces their ancestry to an ancient Hebrew people of Israel, all the way back to Abraham. Most Jews believe that their Messiah hasn't yet come, but will one day. Jewish people worship in holy places known as synagogue, and the spiritual leaders are called rabbis. The six-pointed Star of David is the symbol of Judaism. Today, there are about 14 million Jews worldwide. Most of them live in United States and Israel. Traditionally, a person is considered Jewish if his or her mother is Jewish. Abraham's son Isaac and his grandson Jacob also became central figure in an ancient Jewish history. Jacob took the name Israel, and his children and future generation became known as Israelites. More than 1,000 years after Abraham, the prophet Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt after being enslaved for hundreds of years. Judaism, a 4,000 years old religion, is one of the most oldest monotheistic religion. Around 1000 BC, King David ruled the Jewish people. His son Solomon built the first holy temple in Jerusalem, which became the central place of worship of Jews. After the death of Solomon around 931 BC, the Jewish people split into two groups, Israel in the north and Judah in the south. Around 587 BC, Babylonians, currently Iraq and Syria, attacked Jews and destroyed their first temple and forced the Jews into exile. A second temple was built in about around 516 BC during Persian Empire, but was eventually destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. The destruction of the second temple was significant because Jewish people no longer had a primary place to gather. So, they shifted their focus to worshipping in local synagogue. Alexander the Great conquered the Persian Empire, and after the death of Alexander, his general divided the area among themselves. When Roman rules in the land of Israel, Jesus was born, who himself was Jewish, but gave birth to the new religion, Christian. Around that time, Jews didn't accept Jesus as the last messenger and played a major role in the crucifixion of Jesus. Then, after Jesus died, his followers started the new religion called Christianity. As Christianity spreads and as more Roman emperors converted to Christian, Jews became marginalized in the society. Roman ruler views the refusal of the Jewish community to accept Jesus as the Messiah as a threat. During Middle East, Christianity was regarded as the official religion. Romans started to pass the law that discriminated against Jews. In the year 399, a law saying Jews cannot marry Christians. In 439, Jews couldn't hold position in government. In 531, a law saying they couldn't appear as witnesses against Christians in the court. There was even a rumors that began to spread about the Jews had horns and tails, and that they killed Christian children and used their blood for rituals. Many societies forced Jews to live in segregated ghettos and wear special clothing. The Romans completely destroyed the Jerusalem. Around 570 AD, Muhammad in Mecca, now Saudi Arabia, was born. Muhammad was the prophet and founder of Islam. After the birth of Islam, an Arab conquest began. Jews supported Arab in the hope of better conditions. Jewish communities were tolerated and gradually established all over Europe. Jews started to move to Europe from Middle East. Jews began to work as a trader during this time between Europe and Arabs and earned lots of money. This was considered as the golden ages for Jews. But on December 30, 1066, a Muslim mob stormed the royal palace in Granada and killed more than 1,000 Jewish families. The group also kidnapped and crucified Joseph ibn Nagrala, the Jewish high-ranking advisor of the Berber king. Around 1096, Christians in Europe wants to bring the power back to Christians. The Catholic Church did not allow Jews to own a land. Then comes the Crusader Period in around 1096, which was a series of religious wars initiated, supported, and sometimes directed by the Latin Church in the medieval period, and where the community that was involved in crucifixion of Jesus, especially Jews, were killed. The Christian wanted to take the revenge of the crucifixion of Jesus. There was a series of medieval holy war involving Christian and Muslims. Thousands of Jews were killed, and many more were forced to convert to Christianity. By the 11th century, Christian dominated Europe, and the main minority religion was Judaism. Jews who refused to change their religion were seen as an outsider. During the 14th century, the bubonic plague spread quickly across Europe, killing around 1/3 of its population. Due to superstition and without any evidence, Christians blamed Jews for causing the plague, accusing them of poisoning wells to spread the disease. Thousands of Jews were burned alive after being blamed for the plague. In 1492, the Spanish ruler issued a royal edict that declared all Jews who refused to convert to Christianity would be expelled from the country. During the 16th century, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth adopted favorable migration policies, making it a new haven for Jews from Western Europe, and they settled in that region. However, the Khmelnytsky uprising in Ukraine between 1648 and 1657 in the eastern territories of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, many Jews were slaughtered. In the Jewish history, the uprising is known for the outrage against the Jews who, in their capacity as leaseholders, were seen by the peasants as their immediate oppressor. Almost 300,000 Jews were killed. Toward the end of 18th century, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth Empire collapsed and the Russian acquired its territory. Jews were not liked by Russians. Under the Pale of Settlement that declares a territory within the border of Tsarist Russia wherein the residence of Jews were legally authorized. Jews were just allowed to live in a designated areas. In 1903, the Russian secret police published some fake documents that were known as the Protocols of Elder of Jion, which describe a conspiracy by rabbis who is a religious leader in Judaism to take over the world. The Russian secret police later murdered entire Jewish communities. After the communists took over in 1917, more than 500 Jewish communities in Ukraine were wiped out, and around 60,000 Jews are killed in what became known as pogroms. During the first half of 19th century, the Jewish population migrated to United States and Western Europe. They improved the economic condition over there. Till date, after Israel, America has the most population of Jews. Jews were all escaping from one place to another in search of a safe place. They were all living in different places in a scattered form all around the world. Based on the attacks on Jews throughout history, for centuries, many Jews argued that the way to escape persecution, discrimination, and genocides was to create a Jewish state, especially in Palestine, an area where Jews lived and location of an ancient Israel. The movement to try to get Jews returned to Palestine to live and establish their own society is known as Zionism. During World War I, the Great Britain promised the Jews that they will be given a permanent home if Jewish people support British to win the war. In 1917, in the Balfour Declaration, Great Britain announced establishing a national home for Jewish people in Palestine. But at the same time, Great Britain also supported the Great Arab Revolt against the Ottoman Empire and promised their independence in the liberated land that is Israel. After the World War I, Ottoman Empire falls and the Palestine was controlled by Britain. In 1917, only 4% of Palestine were Jews. Around 1920s and 1930s, more and more Jews moved to Palestine. The local Muslim Arab in Palestine grew a hate towards Jews as a threat to their homeland. Jewish and Arab Muslim tension increases. World War II breaks out. During that time, the Holocaust occurred. The Nazis, in the leadership of Adolf Hitler, killed more than 6 million Jews. Nazis blamed Jews for all Germans' major economic and social problems after World War I. During and after the Holocaust, many Jews returned to their homeland in the Middle East region known as Palestine and embraced Zionism, a movement for the creation of a Jewish state that emerged in 19th century Europe. On November 29, 1947, the United Nations Assembly recommends partitioning of Palestine into Arab state, a Jewish state, and the city of Jerusalem. At the time, the Jews made up only 1/3 of its population of Palestine and owned only 6% of the land. However, the United Nations two-state solution called for 55% of the land area for Jewish population. On May 14, 1948, Jewish leader announced the creation of a state of Israel, which immediately caused a war with neighboring Muslim Arab countries. David Ben-Gurion, one of the leading promoters of a Jewish nation-state, was given the title of Prime Minister. However, tensions between Jewish and Muslim Arabs living in Palestine escalated in the years since Israel became a state and are still ongoing today. In 1950, Israel passed a law that gives Jews the right to come and live in Israel and to gain Israeli citizenship. Since 1948, Israel has been involved in a series of major military conflicts, including the 1956 Jews crisis, 1967 Six-Day War, 1973 Yom Kippur War, 1982 Lebanon War, and 2006 Lebanon War, as well as nearly constant series of ongoing war conflicts. That's all for the Jews. Thank you.